Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's topic, which is environmental portraits. Portrait photography is all about capturing and working with people. That are living, breathing people are our main subjects for this genre of photography. Environmental portraits are a really fun way that you can highlight a person and tell a little bit more about them, tell a story with them by involving their surroundings intentionally. So let's get started. It's to start us off, the idea is that it's one thing to make a picture of what a person looks like, but it's another thing to make a portrait of who they are. So we want to dive a little bit deeper than go beyond just taking a picture of someone to show us what they look like. With environmental portraits, something that's really powerful and really interesting is that you can use more the setting and lighting and props and tools to help tell a story about the person, tell a story about the person that you're capturing, and just whether it be their entire life or just a little bit about them. Again, it's a really powerful tool to be able to tell a story about a person. So that's our goal here. So let's start off. I have this little activity. I know we're one-on-one, so I'm just going to have you do this by yourself. So first step, we see this photo. I want you guys to take it in. Take a look at the subject, the setting, the surrounding. And then I want you to ask yourselves, first step, what details stand out to you in this photo? Maybe it's the gentleman painting. Maybe it's the crazy graffiti face that's sticking out in the foreground. Maybe it's the all the graffiti and the painting behind him. Maybe it's the actual action that he's doing. Again, what details stand out to you in this photo? Next up, what mood or feeling does this photo give off? Does it give off a feeling? Does it give off a mood? Think about it. Maybe it's giving off, to me, this photo is giving off more of a creative mood feeling, realistic as well too. So after taking a little bit of time to look at this photo, interact with it, based on this photo alone, what do you think that this person does? I'll give you a second to think. The correct answer for this is that this is a street artist from Tel Aviv by the name of Rami Miri. Again, he's a street artist. He's a street muralist. He's actually in action and painting. And again, just to think about what details in this photo led you to that possible answer. We'll do one more example here. So here we have Miss Shilpa Chava. This photo is taken in Las Vegas. So first up, what details stand out to you about this photo? I'll give you a second to interact and look at it. Maybe it's the colorful fish that are flying around. Maybe it stood out to you that there's a person in the very background or in the center of the photo. Maybe does what she's wearing stand out to you? Look at her nice mermaid tail. Maybe the setting, and look at the background. Do you see any detail in the glass? Are we under the ocean, or where are we? The next question is, what mood or feeling does this photo give off? Again, I'll give you a second to think. To me, this photo gives off more of a whimsical vibe. It gives off mysterious, magical, again, whimsical, based off of the colors, the mermaid tail, again, the reflection in the backgrounds, again, you name it. But I think that it's a little bit whimsical. So based on the photo and what we just discussed and what you're thinking, what do you think that this person does and why? Again, I'll give you a second to think. If you answered mermaid, you were correct. Miss Shilpa is a aquatic performer in Las Vegas. She is a mermaid set in a casino aquarium. Again, you can kind of see some of the lights and action going on behind. Again, just by taking a moment to gather and look at the settings, not just the subject, but the subject, what they're wearing, where they're placed, what is the setting and the location, what does the color and lighting look like. Again, all of these questions lead us to an answer and let us infer a story or create a story about the subject. Again, in environmental portraits, we're using the power of your setting paired along with your subject to help um, to help create and tell that story. So I'm going to go ahead and skip along here. And first up, let's talk about what a portrait is. So let's dial it back a little bit. At the end of the day, a portrait is about personality, identity, and emotion. Uh, Ideally, a portrait is more than just a photo. It should go beyond the surface and invite us into someone's world. But generally, it should capture who they are, not just what they look like. And again, a portrait can be posed or candid. So here, I just like showing this example of just a selfie taken on our phone versus a posed styled portrait. Again, both are nice photos, but the shot on the right looks a little bit more professional, put together. Again, a standard portrait showing who they are. Now, where we are learning on and going on to today is environmental portraits. An environmental portrait is just like a portrait. Again, we're showing who they are and trying to go beyond that. But specifically in an environmental portrait, it tells a deeper story. The idea is by including where the person is, or including a specific setting that's relevant to the person, or putting them in specific outfits. Again, we can see the person and their world. So again, a environmental portrait is one that includes the subject's environment. The background should give us clues to the person's life, work, or interests. Here's a beautiful photo. This is from one of my favorite portrait photographers. His name is Brian Dobin. It's from his portrait series, and here it's a beautiful photo, black and white photo of this wonderful woman. She looks like she's standing in what I can only imagine in the background looks like she's in an industrial kitchen kind of setting. So my guess with her, based on the background and also the uniform that she's wearing, she looks like she might be a chef or a head baker or something like that. Again, just by taking a moment to look at the settings, their outfit, again, we're able to tell a story about them. The photographer didn't just happen to go and take this photo. Most likely, they intentionally set this up. They're trying to tell more about this subject. Tells that she is a chef in a nice environment. Again, just using the power of subject, setting, and context to help tell a story. So going off of that, again, when you take a subject and you place them in a relevant setting, you get what's called storytelling. Again, you should think about the setting like a supporting character. It should add information and feeling to the photo and not take away. So again, the idea that is that the setting should reveal something meaningful about your subject, and it should feel natural and authentic. So something to think about is like, where does your subject spend time? What tells us who they are? Like here we have what looks like a taxidermist. It's a gentleman standing in his, looks like his studio with a bunch of different stuffed animals, different type of animals, or maybe this is an actual live one. Again, you never know. But to me, this looks like a taxidermist. So with this, it's an interesting photo. But if you were to take the mermaid from our second example earlier in this presentation and place them in this setting where with all of these animals, things would look a little bit off. It wouldn't necessarily match. Whereas placing the mermaid in her aquarium, in her area, and in her place of work, it matched and told the story. Same with this gentleman. Again, think about where does your subject spend their time, and what can tell us more about who they are. So another quick game. Which photo tells you more? Left or right? I'll give you a second. Think. If you chose the photo on the right, that's the photo that generally tells you more. Again, who's to say that maybe both of the gentlemen in this photo could be chefs? But The photo on the left, where there's the gentleman on the plain white background, really you would have no idea what they do. Again, it's just a standard headshot portrait on a white background, not telling us much about the subject other than they wear glasses. The photo on the right tells an entirely different story. Again, we have a nice photo, a nice shot of this person. He's in action. They're working. They're in a kitchen environment. I can only guess that this is a chef of some kind. Again, using the power of your settings and outfits, everything, context to give you and tell you more information. So think about your setting, again, like I said, as a supporting character. So moving on, when it comes time to actually photograph and capture your portraits, there's some things that you can do that will help you. You don't need any fancy lighting gear. All you need to do is just to be intentional about where the light is coming from, and how you're composing your photo. So when it comes to lighting, pay attention to where your light source is coming from, especially if you're indoors or outdoors as well too. But harsh sunlight can be really unflattering, and whereas soft directional light can add shape and emotion. So just think about what lighting that you're going to use. When shooting inside, I would recommend looking for windows or doors, etc., as a light source to provide an even source of lighting coming onto your subject. Like in this photo on the tips and tricks page, we have a beautiful window coming. That looks like there's a window over on this left side that's bringing a lot of light onto the foreground. We also have a little bit of a window in the background that's adding a highlight along her back as well too. Again, creating a nice even setting. So, like I said, ultimately you're likely going to be using natural light in here. You don't need any fancy lighting gear. Again, it can help, of course, but here we want to use the power. Let's use the power of the sun to our disposal. So up first, like we want to look for soft, natural light, and that which is best for portraits. Direct, hard lighting can really take away from the overall quality. So, like I said, look for that soft, natural light. You can look for window light or a light coming in through a door. Or if you're shooting outside, try looking on a really sunny day. Try looking for an even shade spot, or specifically place the subject the sun so it's not hitting directly on your subject's face. Of course, golden hour in early morning or later afternoon is always really nice. So when it comes to lighting, here is an example of the hard light versus soft light. This harsh lighting is the one that we want to avoid, where they have the direct shadows on the nose, on the face, uneven lighting, all of that stuff. Here we have the soft lighting in the bottom corner. Again, this is what we're striving for. Nice, even lighting that's painting your subject in a nice light. So next tip is when it comes to portrait photography, you're going to want to think about what your depth of field is. So what your aperture setting is. Again, your aperture setting controls how much of your photo is in focus. For classic portraits, a shallow depth of field that is really popular. It helps isolate the subject and makes the background blurry. So when you're photographing a subject, again, this is more traditional portraits. If you're photographing a person and the background isn't super important to context, it's okay if your background is a little out of focus. Again, your subject's in focus, but your background's out of focus. You can use a shallow depth of field, which is like f2.8 to f5.6. This will blur the background and draw attention to your subject's face. But especially in environmental portraits, something to think about is that a lot of times you need the context of that background to help tell the story. So it's important that that backdrop is in focus. So for environmental portraits, I would generally recommend shooting it at somewhere around like an f8, f11 with a wider depth of field so that it will keep more of your background in focus. It's great for when the setting adds meaning to tell the story. So again, like here in this example of this portrait of the father, we have a nice crisp subject, and most of the background is pretty in focus. Again, you can see the nice details on the candles, tabernacle, all of this stuff. So again, just think about what you need to tell in the story. Do you need the background as context? If so, shoot with that wider aperture. But just one thing to note is that the wider the aperture will result in less light. So again, the bigger the aperture number, it'll create a less amount of light, again, because the opening on that aperture blade is getting smaller and smaller. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to make sure to compensate with either a slower shutter speed or a higher ISO. Here's what I recommend. So when it comes to exposing your photos, I always like to shoot and select your aperture. I then also like to select and choose what shutter speed. Generally, when it comes to portrait photographer, I do not like to go lower than 1/250th of a second for shutter speed. The reason being is that it'll make sure that everything is still crisp, nice and focused, and all that good stuff. So with that, if you're shooting at f1 1/250th of a second and aperture of 5/8 f8, sorry, f8, then what you're likely going to need to do is your photo is likely going to result in being a little bit dark. Again, just because of the settings. If you notice that your photo is a little bit dark when adjusting your settings, you can go ahead and bump your ISO up. ISO controls the overall brightness of your image and the sensor quality. So again, that's just one tip for choosing your settings and how you can best approach it. Something just like landscapes, a good portrait follows strong compositions. So use lines, balance, and framing to help guide the viewer's eyes to the subject. You can try using rule of thirds, leading lines, frame within a frame, to help compose an interesting shot. Again, still let the background elements support, but not distract. Your subject is still the main focus. And really one of our last kind of thoughts is that when you're taking portrait photography, you're working with a person. And again, it's a human environment, a human approach. What I mean by that is that try placing yourself in your subject's shoes. Not everyone loves having their photo taken. So your job as a photographer is to create a safe space where your subject feels comfortable and respected and feels comfortable to be themselves so that you can get that nice, authentic photo of them. So I always suggest try to make your subject comfortable. Have a conversation with them before, during, and after the shoot. Again, don't just get laser focused into your camera and forget to tell them. Don't be afraid to direct them, show them what you want them to look like, what you want them to do, meaning like act out the poses or be verbal. Again, you are the one that's behind the camera and you're the one that's seeing them. So if something doesn't look right, if the hair is out of place or if something just doesn't look right, take that moment to adjust and do it before you take the photo so that you can get absolutely as best as you can. Always be kind, be respectful, and be patient. Again, this is your guys' first time approaching portrait photography, so just have fun with it and get creative. And when it comes down to it, make sure that you always are asking for permission, especially if you're photographing strangers. For this project that we're about to embark on, you're going to need to do a little bit of planning, so you'll see that in that next assignment. So just think about, plan ahead, ask permission, do what you need to do to make sure that you guys are all on the same page. So our last thoughts are think about your subject, setting an intended mood before you shoot. You do your research and plan. You should do the same, if not more work in the pre-planning section than you do in the shooting section as a session. Again, think about what you want your final photo to look like and think about different types of poses, different looks. Again, when you're actually going through and shooting, try getting a variety. Move around, take a lot of photos, have fun. Don't be afraid to move things around and get the best composition. Again, ideally, you should walk away from a portrait session with like no less than like 40 to 50 photos. Again, that's again with variety, different poses, different lighting, different test shots. Again, you name it, but try to shoot for variety and have fun with it. So, just to finish this off, here are some final environmental portraits. Wonderful.